Before starting the story, I would like to say that 99% of you are not subscribers, while only 1% are. At 1,000 subscribers, I will post a series of special stories for you. Subscribe now.
In the cold silence of space, Captain Alia Reed reviewed the day's navigation logs in the dim light of her command console aboard the Starship Venture. As the ship hummed through the void, a faint, sputtering signal pierced the monotony, catching the attention of Jonas, the ship's communications officer. He adjusted his headset, frowning as he tried to isolate the sound. "Captain, you might want to hear this," Jonas said, his voice laced with a mix of curiosity and concern. Captain Reed approached, listening intently to the garbled transmission that seemed to be a distress signal, looped and deteriorating. Analyzing the signal's origin, Reed found it led to Zarian Five, a planet notorious among spacefarers for its brutal past as a mining colony that was abruptly deserted after a series of cataclysmic failures. The planet was now nothing more than a ghostly whisper in spacefarer tales, often bypassed and forgotten. Despite the risks and the eerie history of Zarian 5, Captain Reed's resolve stiffened. "Prepare the ship for a detour," she ordered, her voice steady but her mind racing with the implications of what they might find. The crew exchanged uneasy glances but nodded in agreement, their trust in Reed's judgment unwavering. As the Venture descended through Zarian 5's turbulent atmosphere, buffeted by fierce winds and thick swirling dust, the desolation of the planet unfolded beneath them. What once might have been a thriving outpost was now just a landscape of ruins, dilapidated buildings and abandoned machinery half buried under the shifting sands. Landing the ship on a relatively stable outcrop near the source of the signal, Reed and her first officer, Luca, suited up for the harsh conditions outside. Equipped with their atmospheric suits and carrying emergency supplies, they stepped into the bleak, oppressive environment of Zarian 5. The source of the signal was an old communications outpost a few kilometers from their landing site. Its silhouette loomed like a sentinel against the barren backdrop as they approached. The building was in a severe state of decay, its exterior panels stripped away by relentless sandstorms, and its structure compromised. Inside, amidst the scattered debris and remnants of a long-gone era, they found the source of the distress call, an old, barely functioning AI unit, its interface flickering weakly in the shadowy light. As Reed approached, the AI unit, recognizing the presence of life forms, tried to stabilize its output. "Welcome to Outpost Delta 5. System critical. Assistance required," the AI unit stuttered, its voice fragmented and distorted. Captain Reed glanced at Luca, her eyes reflecting both determination and a hint of awe. They were about to delve into the secrets of this forgotten place, guided by an echo from the past that refused to fade into silence. With the distressed AI's voice echoing in their helmets, Captain Reed and First Officer Luca entered deeper into the decrepit communications outpost. The building, a relic of a bygone mining boom, was lined with sand-drifted hallways and littered with the debris of its abrupt abandonment. Each step they took stirred up clouds of fine, red dust that had settled over years of solitude. The AI, which introduced itself as Echo, attempted to provide guidance, but its system glitches and power fluctuations made the communication sporadic. "System in survival mode. Please assist in power restoration," Echo managed to articulate, its voice synthesizer crackling with static. Captain Reed, accustomed to troubleshooting under pressure, located the main power console, a dusty panel with loose wires and flickering lights. "Luca, see if you can reroute the power from auxiliary to main. We need to stabilize it enough to get clear information," she instructed, her hands deftly working to secure loose connections. Luca, with a nod, pulled out his toolkit and began to work on the circuitry. As he did, the dim lights flickered, briefly illuminating the forgotten portraits of miners and faded flags of the mining corporation that once claimed this outpost. It was a stark reminder of the lives that once filled these halls, now just whispers in the dust. After several tense minutes, the light steadied, and Echo's voice came through with less distortion. "Thank you, Captain Reed. First Officer Luca, system stabilizing." "Somewhat. How may I assist you now?" Reed took a moment to assess their next steps. "Echo, We need to know why you sent out a distress signal. What happened here? As Echo narrated, images from its database flickered on a cracked screen. The AI detailed a violent storm that had swept through the colony, crippling their infrastructure and leaving the outpost isolated. In the aftermath, the human inhabitants faced dire conditions, leading to a decision to evacuate. However, Echo was left behind, its programming making it unable to abandon the outpost or cease operations. Listening to Echo's recount of the disaster, Captain Reed felt a surge of sympathy for the AI, left alone to echo the ghosts of its past duties indefinitely. We're going to see what we can salvage here. There's history in these walls, and maybe something that can help us both, she declared. The duo explored the facility, uncovering more about the daily lives of the miners through personal items left behind, worn tools, handwritten notes, photographs of families far away. Each item told a story of hardship and hope, of a community that had tried to carve out a life on this inhospitable planet. As they collected data and artifacts, the mission evolved from a simple check of a distress signal to a rescue operation, not just of the AI, but of the memory of the outpost itself. Captain Reed and Luca worked meticulously to preserve what they could, determined to bring back not just resources, but also stories that deserve to be remembered. Through their efforts, they not only restored more of Echo's operational capabilities, but also began to piece together the narrative of Zarion Five, a testament to human resilience and the unyielding spirit of those who venture into the unknown. With the outpost's systems partially restored and stabilized, Captain Reed and First Officer Luca delved deeper into Echo's recovered memories. The AI, now functioning more fluidly, projected holographic logs and visual records. The images flickered with the vibrancy of life once lived here. Miners working the rigs, families gathering for what little recreation the harsh environment allowed, and community celebrations that seemed both poignant and distant. As they absorbed these scenes, the ghostly presence of the past crew felt palpably close. Echo, its voice steadier now, provided commentary that filled in the gaps. Sector 4 was once the most productive until the storm exposed the main shafts to toxic gases. Evacuation was immediate and chaotic. Many belongings were left behind, it explained. Captain Reed sifted through a box of personal effects, journals, tools, small toys probably belonging to miners' children. Each item was carefully logged and packed for return to Earth, potentially as museum pieces or for family archives. These aren't just artifacts, they're lifelines to the past, Reed mused, her voice echoing slightly under her helmet. Luca, meanwhile, had taken to restoring Echo's external sensors, which would help map out the remaining structures and perhaps discover any unlogged areas of interest. As he worked, the sensors flickered to life, revealing a hidden sub-basement under the outpost, not previously indicated in any of the outpost's blueprints. "Captain, you need to see this," he called out. Together, they accessed the sub-basement, finding it remarkably preserved. Here lay the personal quarters of the outpost's last superintendent, a room frozen in time, personal diaries, old video discs, and even a wall of geological samples, each labeled meticulously, provided a treasure trove of data. Echo, accessing these new areas along with them, seemed to undergo a transformation. "These were my last instructions. Preserve until retrieval. I have awaited this for long," the AI shared, its tone imbued with a semblance of relief. The personal diaries of the superintendent, discovered on a dust-covered desk, offered a new perspective on the final days. The writing spoke of an impending rescue mission that never arrived, of promises made to the crew that were never fulfilled. "We hold out hope, but the reality is setting in that we may be the last denizens of Zarion 5," one entry read. The gravity of their discovery was not lost on Reed and Luca. They spent the remaining hours documenting everything, taking extensive video and holographic records to bring back with them. Echo, meanwhile, assisted by linking the personal stories to the larger narrative of the outpost's operational history. Their mission on Zarion 5 was no longer just about recovery, but about bringing closure to those ghostly voices through the preservation of their stories. It became a testament to the human spirit's resilience and an AI's unwavering commitment to its final directive. As the sun set over the desolate landscape, casting long shadows over the outpost, Reed and Luca prepared to return to the venture, carrying with them not just physical artifacts, but echoes of the past that would finally reach home. As the twin suns of Zarian 5 rose over the horizon, casting a harsh light on the desolate landscape, Captain Reed and First Officer Luca prepared for their departure from the outpost. The venture stood ready, its cargo hold now filled with artifacts and data collected from their mission. Echo 2 was prepared for a new journey, its systems integrated into a portable module that Luca had engineered for transport. Before leaving, Reed planted a beacon beside the outpost's entrance, a small but sophisticated device designed to continuously transmit the history and data they had uncovered. "Let this be a marker of the lives that once thrived here, and a testament to their resilience," Reed declared as she activated the beacon. It flickered to life, casting a soft, pulsing glow on the sand, a beacon for future explorers or historians who might venture this far. With Echo secured aboard the venture, the ship lifted off, leaving behind the sweeping dunes and the memories embedded within them. As they ascended through the planet's thinning atmosphere, Reed couldn't help but look back through the rear viewport, her thoughts mingling with a sense of accomplishment and a poignant nostalgia for the outpost's lost souls. In the quiet of the command deck, Echo, now linked to the ship's mainframe, began to relay the newfound stellar data it had preserved for decades. "Captain, analysis of previous surveys conducted by the outpost has revealed several uncharted mineral-rich asteroids within this sector," Echo informed them, its voice no longer distorted by faulty wiring, but clear and vibrant through the ship's speakers. Luca, ever the explorer, was quick to respond, his eyes alight with the prospects. "Charting a course to these coordinates could yield substantial benefits for our mission sponsors and give us a new direction for further exploration," he suggested eagerly. Reed nodded, her decision clear. "Set the course, Luca. Let's see what other secrets this part of the galaxy holds." The potential of their unexpected detour was unfolding into an expansive new venture, propelled by the stories and data of those who had once called Zarian 5 home. As the venture sped towards its new destination, Reed spent time with Echo, now a repository of not only geological and navigational data, but of human histories and untold stories. "Echo, your mission continues with us now," she said, "not just as a custodian of the past, but as a beacon for future explorations." "Affirmative, Captain Reed. It is a new operational directive I am most eager to fulfill," replied Echo, its synthetic voice carrying a new note of purpose. The journey ahead was filled with promise and the unknown. With the data provided by Echo, the crew of the venture was not just charting a path through the stars, but navigating the intricate memories of human endeavor. Each planet, each asteroid they would encounter, now held the possibility of new stories, continuing the legacy of exploration and discovery that had led them to Zarian 5. As the venture disappeared into the depths of space, the stories of the outpost and its last lone sentinel, Echo, were now interwoven with the lives of those aboard. The universe was vast, and their adventures were just beginning, fueled by the echoes of the past and the boundless potential of the future.